2. Just checking that we're live. Yep, we are. Good, and I've got an excellent condition here, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit as well. Hopefully we'll see everything. This is about the what's new in Python 3.12, but I've just discovered that one piece of this is actually broken. So I'm going to report it and sort of like have a look at which piece is broken and why I'm saying it's broken. But I'm actually referring to, oops, if I can get it up, I don't know if I've got it there. Let's see if I've got my little G-Link thing here. I do. So it just gives me a pen to enable to circle some things on the screen. But I'm also going to share this link as well. So just going to hit a share on there. So your link, and then I'll share it to social media as usual. And I'm referring to, while I'm talking about this, so just let me hit the post button. I'm referring to this, which is the type statement, which I was really looking forward to actually, because Python's quite good for type hinting, and it's sort of like made improvements as well. There's other improvements I hear I haven't really I have gone through them and so forth, but this one seemed to be like a really useful one because the type hinting is just very helpful. But unfortunately, the powers that be, it seems that it's slightly broken. So what do I mean? So the first thing I'll do is I will click on the type statement over here, and it takes us to kind of like its usage. So that's the type statement, and I'll put a little bit of background-y as well. So let's just get that going. So we're over here, and basically, well, at least one of the things that it looks like you can do quite nicely is you can sort of like do type and then whatever the variable is, and you can describe exactly what it is to Python in a very convenient way in a one-liner. Now, I never really, I'm going to say I don't massively see the point of it, but I see where it comes from. But, and I'm going to go through this because it's something that looks broken in a way, but basically you can use this type here, so type, and then you can just say, and I literally just copied the syntax exactly as it is, whatever we want as our type. So I can say hello, and then also I go type and then hello, and then I can say that it's of type int like this, and it's fantastic. Or I could say that, for example, that it's a list of strings, but it could be a list of strings, or it could be a tuple of ints, right? I'm not sure why you would ever have a type like that, but you might have a type like that, and that's what the typing module does. And if I was to sort of print out the type of hello, it'd be typing.Type, because I've actually tried that out. So let me just zoom in a little bit on this as well. Control +++ a few times just to zoom in, and I will maximize the screen over here and comment out all of the other stuff that I'm going to go through, which is where it looks like it's broken Python. So I'll take all of that out for now. So I can run this piece of code, F5, it'll run. Nothing's going to happen at the moment, but then I can sort of do a print of hello like that. And by the way, if I do print of hello, it's going to fail. I think it's going to throw me an error message, so I can just run this a second time. It's thrown me an error message because I haven't actually, oh no, it's done, it's printed hello is what it's done. But I wonder if I do a print of the type of hello. Like this, and hit F5 to run it. We see here, down at the bottom, that it's a class of typing.Type, the type alias type. That's what it's actually done. So it's kind of like, I guess it's all like convenient. It's almost like hello is now recognized because it didn't throw an error message per se. So if I didn't have this in here and I didn't have this here, now hello is like not recognized. And if I wanted to type in hello, I would have done hello is of, so like, you know, before maybe it's a list of strings like that. So I'd have done something like that, and that seemed to work perfectly fine. In my mind, I'm like, you know, there's no great, like visually, apart from having that type keyword there. Whilst I didn't initially like all of this for the purpose of type hinting, it is relatively convenient and it does a job, and it does a job kind of like really well. But I would accept this as doing a job equally as well, if that makes sense. Like either way is perfectly fine. So and maybe you could argue that this is nicer because now you've got a keyword defining it rather than, you know, this colon over here, but Python uses colons, so whatever. Anyway, that's in Python 3.12, so I'll run this all again and let's just get this running. Oh yeah, we do actually get the error message now, funny enough, because, and the reason why we'll get the error message now is because hello is not defined. We haven't said what hello is equal to, so our usual way of doing that, hello of type is of type list.string, but then afterwards we would say hello, and then if we hover over our hello, it will, well, it should say, well, it says unbound there, but it's a list of strings, so we should have something like A, B, and so forth. C. Certainly over this, I wonder, yeah. So now we do get a list of strings. We can see here where the type hinting sort of like is and isn't working and so forth. I'll hit run again. And now it's all fine. We've got our list of hello is defined. It didn't have, and remember the type hinting is exactly that. It's just hints for the user. But the reason why I kind of like use it a lot is actually it's useful, or not a lot. I use it in certain places sometimes because it's good for the doc strings and it's good for the IntelliSense and all of these types of integrated development environments are used, like the VS Code that I'm using right now, which kind of like uses this notation. And if I do hello like this and then do dot, it kind of like recognizes, you know, that it's a list and therefore it's got all the list methods and they pop up and it's very convenient and very helpful. And if I wonder actually if I do change this to, you know, if we can just say that it's a string, for example, now. I wonder if I do, well, hello here, it will, yeah, it's good. It's automatically picked up that is of type over there. Even though we've actually set it to a list of strings, now it's actually taking it as a type of string. So it says, look at string, and it's exposed all the methods of a string. So that's what it's done, and that's because of the type hinting. So I can control the environment, or the user can control the environment by type hinting in the right way. And this was the old method and it was fine. Let's remove the old method again. So remove that. Let's move this one up here, put that one over there, and I'll get rid of this all statement at the moment, just have it as a list of strings so they're kind of like equivalent. This was a list of strings like that, and hello is now ABC again. I can run the code and we get our ABC, and if I do hello and then dot, again it's recognized, well, it's recognized as a string, funnily enough. So even though I've got a list of strings, because it hasn't, oh no it hasn't, that's fine. And actually I just want to check on that because I might have said that one wrongly from the beginning here. So I'm hoping that was all of the string methods. So just go back here and remove that one. Yeah, it was strings, so that's perfectly fine. Okay. So we'll go back, list of strings. I was just checking because we can see what the methods are. So here, for example, we've got like pop, remove, reverse, and they're all list methods. So the type hinting's doing this for us. Whether we do it the old-fashioned way or whether we do it the new modern way, like either different way that we do it, one way or the other, we have type hinted, and the IntelliSense will pick it up. It sort of knows what we're talking about from the type hint, which is fantastic. Now, I think I might just jump straight onto this. This is all fine, it all works, it's all looking good, and I was really happy about that. I'm going to remove all of these prints and get rid of this hello as well, and I'm going to go down to the piece that I wanted to, which is basically this. If I go to the official documentation, and I wonder if I've got that around. So, and I'm talking about, some official docs. I'm going to take some boilerplate code here, and the boilerplate code I'm taking is from matplotlib. And I've just basically copied all of this code. I've kind of like removed, oops, let's go back there because I just clicked there. I removed this bar colors thing because it's not, I just changed them all into one list just to shorten the example for the purpose of getting it working. But I've copied all of this effectively and I've pasted it down here in this block of code. But in particular, and I will actually move these lines of code out, I guess. In fact, I can move this whole block just like that away. That's effectively the code there, like that. Now, if I do that, we see straight away that we do the from matplotlib import plot as PLT. You know, there's different ways of doing it. You know, this is actually the standard way. They're both ways, but I was checking both. Neither of them works. And what do I mean by neither of them works? Is basically this. I've imported matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and then the standard pattern is fig, ax equals plot.subplots, and plot.subplots returns a tuple. And inside the tuple, there's a figure, and there's also something like an any that comes back from it. And maybe it's matplotlib that's broken and not the typing. So, you know, possibly something to look at is in 3.12 has sort of like left behind matplotlib. So, what do I mean by this? Well, the piece that I really mean is here, which is fig and ax are both of certain types. And if I was to do fig and then dot, I would expect something to pop up, and in this particular case it does pop up, and maybe it's because I've got all of this here, I don't know. Let's just comment it all out. But more importantly, or if I do this again, I guess ax dot, well, ax doesn't pop up for sure. I think it's possibly because ax was of type any now, so it's not recognized. Fig dot, well, fig does pop up. I wonder if it's because I was type hinting before and it's gone into the memory, but one of the things I've had to do, but nonetheless, when you come to do this in the standard mod, like the copy and paste of the code, anytime that this actually works, so we'll actually run. So there's no problem with the actual code, it does run. But someone who's wanting to use the IntelliSense, I've just hit F5 to run it, and here's our little thing that runs. So it's all perfectly fine, everything runs, and we got our reds and our blues and all the rest of it. But somebody who's using the IntelliSense, and we kind of like, it's really, really helpful. It stops you making errors, it tells you what the methods and modules are, and all the rest of it is really, really useful. Someone in using the IntelliSense now can't do ax dot. Right, doesn't pick it up, doesn't tell you like what methods and attributes are available. Now, there's two ways of doing this. The first way, well, in either case, I need to put this back. So I now need to do this in matplotlib. So this is non-boilerplate. I have to add these two things here, right, to describe what a figure is, which is a matplotlib.figure. From matplotlib.figure, import the figure. And also from matplotlib.axis, import axis. So I now have to describe both of these. And I have to do exactly what I was showing before, which is this fig colon figure. I have to say that fig is now of type figure. And look at the coloring here. This is white at the moment, so it's not picked up and recognized. But if I do axis, all of a sudden everything turns yellow. And if I do ax dot, I now get all of the methods and attributes that are available. So I've had to effectively in Python 3.12, and I'm not sure if it's because of the typing or if it's actually because the subplots here returns, well, it does return a figure. So, and it looked like Python was fine with that. It looked like Python recognized that the figure was of type figure. So I possibly didn't need the figure, but the axis that matplotlib was returning from subplots appears to be of type any, and therefore it doesn't know it's of type axis, and therefore the linter doesn't know to pick up when I do, and that's why it didn't color them all. So ax dot, it doesn't know to pick up all of the methods. And I want to go through this and do this because I don't know, I want to find, for example, something that I'm looking for. I want to do, I was going to say a bar chart because it popped up, but I don't want to do a bar chart. Let's say I want to do something else, like a line chart. Let's type in line. There you go, like lines. I don't know. We'll do something else that's available. So I've done a title, Y label. Okay, I can do an X label. So X label. Now, this is really useful because I've just typed in X label. I haven't even typed in the get underscore or the set underscore, but it's picked me out everything that's got the word LA for label in it. Right? It's really convenient. I don't want to lose this feature. This feature is massively useful. There we go. Now I've got a set X label, and I can give, you know, whatever the X label was on this chart. I can't even remember what it was. Fruit supply. This is probably fruit types. Right. I want to be able to do that relatively fast. I want the IntelliSense and linter. I want it to be picked up. And the only way it's now going to pick it up is via this. So if I do run this just to demonstrate it will work, just have to wait for it to do its running, and the chart pops up on the side, and it's fine. And I get the fruit types down at the bottom here. So, you know, this fruit types was the piece that I had added over here using the X label, and that came out of the IntelliSense, and it found it for me, and it made my coding much faster. So that's no longer working basically. And here's the two alternatives for doing it. One is the, you know, the fig colon figure ax colon axis, which was the old way, and the new way, which is Python version 3.12. We can use the type thing here like this. So both of these are equivalent to each other. So if I comment this one out, in fact, I'll comment them all out for now. Well, I should actually point this out really, that this type thing over here, actually, if I do ax dot, oh, it has done it actually. Maybe it's just slow to do it, but I've noticed that it hasn't done the coloring. So something's happened in here that it is pulling things up. So ax dot, and it's getting all of the methods. But for some reason, it hasn't colorized it the right color. So it's almost like Python version 3.12 has in some way broken the VS Code like coloring, which is one of the other features. And I did a video on what we wanted for a good integrated development environment. And one of the things that came up, one of the first things was coloring. It's really, really useful. It's really, really helpful. And the other thing that comes up is the IntelliSense. So this works. This one doesn't work. And the minute I comment out the type fig equals figure and type ax equals axis and go back to the original version of it, and maybe this is a case that VS Code needs to be updated to be able to handle the types. So maybe I've just gone into upgraded to Python 3.12 a little bit too quickly. Maybe in fact I can do this in real time if I can. Is there a help and check for updates? There are currently no updates, so I'm using the latest version of VS Code. So it's basically just not working in the desired way, at least, because I would expect to do that. I think I can live with the fact that you need to do from matplotlib.axis import axis because of the fact that the subplots comes back and gives us this any word over here. So it wouldn't know what it is. It doesn't know that it's of type axis. Quite interestingly, actually, and it is interesting to think about this, is that I would have thought, but maybe someone can correct me on this, that the subplots, what it actually does return is actually something of type axis. And the reason why I say that is if I go to any of the matplotlib blocks of code, like any of them, they always have, and this is what I'm calling a standard pattern, which is the fig, comma, at equals plot dot subplots. Now, the alternative way of doing this, and I was experimenting with it, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go and simplify anything and never do anything with that incorporates subplots, because subplots looks, I'm going to call it partially broken in a way. It's not working in our desired way. And I'll just do plots plt equals plot dot show or plot dot like line or something like that, and just keep it simple. So the alternative is I think something like plot or plot also plt dot plot. So like this, because when we don't have any axes or anything in there, like straight away, then if we do like p dot, it exposes everything that we want, and we never had to do any of the hinting, anything else. So it's kind of like, oh great, if I avoid the axis, that's one way of doing it. So, but I don't want to do that because I want to sometimes go and copy the boilerplate code, because the boilerplate code is quite useful. And the other thing is I want to use a fig and ax, because sometimes you want to do a chart that's got, and the whole purpose of the fig and the ax, and I've done a video on this in the past, so go and look at the other videos, is basically, it gives you this and it lets you do lots of little plots inside of it. So, I'm not drawing a house, but, that's like a 2x2 plot. So it's got 2 plots across, 1, 2 here and 2 plots down. So the subplots is quite convenient in that way if you wanted to do multiple charts on the same thing. Now, if you're just doing one chart, you would never really notice that. So the first bit of testing that I did immediately highlighted that as an error. So I'm so far not a fan. As we see, that turned white again. There we go, turns yellow. We can see the white to the yellow. I'm not a fan of the typing. If somebody, if you do want to leave comments, because I think I might end it here. I didn't know where I was going to get to on this, but if you do want to leave comments on this matplotlib and how it interacts and VS Code, and if VS Code will be updated, and this new typing feature that's available. So we're talking about this new typing feature that's available in Python 3.12. We really want to get it working so that it works in a useful way for users, because the whole purpose of it, literally the whole purpose of it is, well, at least for me, the hugest part of the purpose of it, the colorization I massively like, and I use the colorization as a warning sign, because apart from like having the linter tell me I've got something wrong, that being white right now, even though the linter hasn't actually, and funnily enough, it hasn't like sort of like put a squiggly underscore there and picked up an error message, I can tell from the color that that set.label is incorrect. And more importantly, I could have avoided that mistake straight away, because set label. So there was 2 things that I was doing as a coder that I could avoid straight away for error messages. that I appear to now have lost, or we, not I, because it's for all of us, appear to now have lost in VS Code, which is the most popular or most used integrated development environment around. I think it's about 70% of the market, and we've lost that for what should be a really useful feature. And if I see type equals something in various places, I'm just wondering of the one thing which is basically, well, it didn't even there, because type at equals axis it just didn't do the job. It didn't replace it. So yeah, slightly disappointed there. Somehow, and I don't know how, but VS Code is not matching up, or matplotlib, one of them, is kind of like broken in that capacity. So I know what the working version is, which is this. The fix is this, which is from matplotlib figure import figure, from matplotlib axis import axis. Anywhere where something's broken, and just like hint your type the old type hinting way, and that definitely does work. And I think I'll leave it there, because that's more than enough. And yeah, if anyone's got any comments, or if anyone's got any solutions, post your solutions. If you found this useful because you came across the same type of error, or just if you found it useful in general because it taught you something new. It's only taught me something new, because finding these errors, kind of like fixing them, teaches me certain things, because I have to go back into the code and find it. But if you found it useful, then hit the like button, the follow button, and subscribe button. And even if you didn't find it useful, hit the like button, the follow button, and the subscribe button. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to sign off here, and have a good one.